Hi, welcome back. So in a previous video, I have explained all about how we can use content pillars to structure our social content and how it makes it super easy for you to know what to post and when. And if you haven't watched that video, then I will stick a little link up to it over here somewhere. But in this episode, I'm going to show you how you can use some of the work which you should have done during your planning stages of your marketing to further kind of structure that content, to give it some context. So you may remember in a previous episode, we've talked about 9 content pillars that help you to structure your content and to give it some sort of context. But the questions I'm always asked is actually, how do I get the inspiration for that content? Where do I know what type of content I should be posting? Or I've got some ideas and some themes, but how does that relate to my business specifically? And I'm hoping that this episode will help you with that, because this should allow you, using this process, using this structure, to draw out so much inspiration and so much content that actually you'll then end up with the opposite problem of actually, how do I use all of this content and when am I going to post and how? Because you've just got so much to work with. So I'm hoping that I'll, remove the problem of not knowing what to post and instead present you with a slightly new problem, which is you've got so much to post that actually you're having to prioritize things and put some things to one side because you've just got so many ideas and inspiration. So fingers crossed, that's what you're going to end up with at the end of this episode. So yeah, I'm Sarah. I'm Managing Director here at the Fastnet agency, which is a specialist e-commerce brand growth agency. We work with ambitious, innovative e-commerce brands to grow their brand quickly and sustainably. And I want to help you do the same. So if this is something that is of interest to you, then subscribe to my channel and hit the bell as well, and you'll be notified every time I post a new video. So let's dive straight in. Let's remind ourselves, first of all, about these content pillars. Now, as I said, I've done a whole video on this, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Please go and watch that video if you haven't already seen it. So you should see up on your screen now our little diagram for our content pillars. And you will see that we split this into top, middle, and bottom of our funnel. The top being at the left-hand side for this purpose, just because it's very difficult to include this in a funnel kind of diagram. The middle of your funnel being in the middle and the bottom of your funnel being to the right-hand side of this diagram. Now, top of funnel is all about discovery, and we've got our various themes there. We've got like ask and participate, lifestyle and traction. And these are all themes related to your content. So it might be that you ask your customers a question, you ask them to participate in something, you maybe kind of present some lifestyle shots of stuff that your customers would relate to, or indeed pictures or images or videos of your customers' lifestyles that help them to kind of buy into the brand and into what you're trying to sell. And there's also kind of traction posts, and this is where we, try and post content that encourages likes and shares and participation in another way to just asking a question. So it might be that you post a quote that you think that your potential customers are going to relate to, and that allows them to share it to their feeds and so on and so forth, and build traction within your brand. Overlapping with that middle section of your content pillars is values. So the reason this overlaps is top of funnel, we talk about, we're trying to get things to get the customer into the funnel, get the customer interested in the brand. Middle of the funnel, it's all about setting ourselves up for the sale, and values kind of sit somewhere in between. In order to attract the customer, they need to know that you have similar values to them. But equally, by demonstrating your values, you're moving them more towards the sales side. So it sits somewhere in the middle, as you can see on this diagram. Firmly within the purchase circle are solutions and results. So this is really what gets the sale across the line. Does your product solve their problem? Does it solve the thing that they want to do? And that might be a fundamental problem. It could be like literally this is a solution to a problem that they have. Or it could be a softer kind of, this is the outfit that you want to wear for your party night out, for example. So it's all about that kind of problem and solution. And it's also about results. So, what did other girls look like in their party outfits when they went out wearing this dress? What did other people find when they used your product to solve their problem, and what results did they get? And that sits in that purchase level of the funnel, because that obviously persuades people to buy. Overlapping between the middle of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel, which we call our brand advocate section, is transparency. Again, the reason this sits between the two is because people like to know who they're buying from. And so by being transparent about your brand, again, it helps people to get over the line and make that purchase, because they understand a bit more about you, a bit more about your company, a bit more maybe about the behind the scenes of what's going on, and that builds trust. So it helps to get that sale over the line. But then when we move towards the bottom of the funnel, this is all about getting people to buy from you again and to recommend you to other people. It's all about getting people from the bottom and getting them back into the top so they buy from you again. It's all about getting this continuous kind of circle of sales going on. And that leads more into authority and beliefs. So Are you an expert in what you're doing? Are you an authority in what you're doing? Like, why is your product superior? Why are you the best to buy from? That's all the sort of stuff that gets people buying again. And also your beliefs, do you have certain ethics behind your brand? Are you donating to charity, vegan certified? Are you particularly conscious about the environment and you do actions towards that? All of those things, again, help people to buy into you as a brand as opposed to just buying your product. And that's really the difference. So just to summarize that, middle of the funnel, that's all about getting people to buy your products. That final circle, or the bottom of the funnel, is all about getting people to buy into your brand. And that's what gets people coming back again. But we've got these 9 content pillars. We know what they should be. We're here, we're there, we're ready, we're planning our content, but actually that doesn't give you any more explanation as to what relates to your brand. So let me give you an example here. Lifestyle. What's a lifestyle piece of content you could produce for your brand? If you're sat there thinking, yeah, that sounds great, Sarah, but I don't know where to get this information from, I have no idea, I'm out of inspiration, then this is where this process will really help you to get over that and to start producing your own content that really relates very much to you. You may have seen that I've produced earlier videos on 3 particular topics: your target personas, your competitor analysis and white space, which is actually the last video I did, and your unique value proposition. These are the 3 kind of cornerstones of building a great brand. And if you haven't already done this work, please, 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 go off and do it now. Pause this video, go off and do it, come back, because these are so essential to building a fantastic brand. It's something we do with all of our clients. It's something I do with my personal brand. It gives you so much clarity. So please go off and do it if you haven't already. But if you've already done this work, this is where it will completely come into its own and it will offer so much clarity on what you're doing with your content. I want you to think about those circles in a slightly different way. Circle 1, ask, participate, lifestyle and traction. I want you to think about that in terms of your target personas. Go back to your target personas, look through everything you've written there, everything you've produced there, and pull out elements that relate to those 3 topics. And you will find them there. If you've done this properly, they are all there. All of those answers are there. What books do they read? What events do they attend? What magazines do they like? What Instagram accounts do they follow? Where do they like to spend their weekends? What's their family life like? What are their goals and motivations? All of this stuff is all of the stuff that you should be including in that discovery phase and using that as inspiration to build that discovery. Because actually, that is exactly what you want to do. You're looking to attract those people into your funnel. So by producing content that relates to all of that, of course, that is exactly what you are going to do. It's obvious when you think about it, but not so obvious when you start planning all of these things. So go back through that target persona workbook and I want you to note down all of those key points that you can then use. And I want you to then plot those against ask and participate. Are you going to X, Y, and Z this year? Because we know your target persona really likes going to that event. So fantastic ask or participate question. Lifestyle, have you got shots of you doing X, Y, and Z? Are you out on the water this year, on your supboard? Send photos. Well, that might be your product, and therefore we know that your target customers are doing that. So that's a really good option for a lifestyle kind of post. Traction, who do your customers really resonate with? Who are they inspired by? Who would they look to for kind of quotes and motivation and anything else that's going to build those traction posts? Well, we know who they are because they're in your target persona. So start looking for that content and repurposing it for your own social media. And that is that first, circle done. You should have everything you need there and loads of inspiration both now and in the future. And actually, as your target personas evolve, which they should do, as you get to know your customer better and better and better, that content is just going to get better and better and better as well. So we move on to our middle circle. So just to remind ourselves, our middle circle included a little bit of values, albeit overlapped with the top of funnel. A little bit of the transparency overlapped with the bottom of our funnel, and firmly in the middle, we've got solutions and results. So we know that these are related to our products, the solutions in our products and the results of our products. But actually, how do we know what a good solution is? And how do we know what a good result is? Unless we have a knowledge of what the competition is doing. And this is what will make your content stand out over and above the competition, is by making sure that you are aware of where you sit in relation to your competitors and how you stand out in relation to your competitors. And you find that out by looking at your competitor analysis and your white space. So don't just say, our product does X, Y, and Z. Any product might do X, Y, and Z. Instead, look at actually where are your competitors letting things down? Where is that not quite right? Where are people finding annoyances and difficulties and all the rest of it? and stand out by saying that your product solves all of those things. So not only does it do all the things that you'd expect it to do, but it's better than the competitors because of X, Y, and Z. Sell it in a way that your competition aren't currently doing. So if you've done your competitive analysis in your white space, you might find that your competitors just aren't describing their products or their services using video, for example. So that can be a great way of showing those solutions and results that stands out from what anybody else is doing. There's all sorts of nuggets of kind of inspiration that you can get through this exercise. But the point is that that middle circle or the middle of your funnel needs to be based on your competitive analysis and your white space and using inspiration from that to come up with your content. So the final piece of this puzzle, final circle, bottom of your funnel, is our brand advocate, bottom of funnel content. So this is normally around authority and beliefs with a little bit of transparency thrown in there as well. And we are going to get all of this information from the hard work that you've put into your unique value proposition, okay? So whatever you've put in there, and if you haven't put enough in there, this is your time to work on it, is what's going to be included in that bottom section. You know, what are your beliefs? How do you want to change the world? Why did you set up this brand in the first place? And why did you feel there was a need for it? You know, what is it that's really driving you to do this? Because there will be something, of course there is. There's a reason why everybody sets up their business, and it's normally because they realise that something is missing and they want to provide that missing piece. And that is your unique value proposition. And that is what goes into the bottom of your funnel content. So as you can see, ta-da! Beautifully aligned. If you've done that hard work in terms of building these foundations, putting the strategy in place, then you can use all of this again and again and again. And if you're outsourcing your social, maybe you've got somebody in your team, maybe you're using an agency, then this is the way to outsource it to them. This is the way to give them everything they need, is by providing them with that information to slot into those 9 content pillars. So that's it. I hope that has provided a really useful piece of the puzzle for you. I really hope that you're enjoying these videos and that you're finding them helpful. If you did find this useful, I've just released my new e-commerce accelerator course, which you can find the link for below. It's fantastic value, and it talks through all of this and more in much, much more detail so that you can really start building your brand in a way that is sustainable and worthwhile. You know, I think this is really important that we don't just chuck stuff out there for the sake of it. Don't just post on social because you feel you should 3 times a week, you know? This is all about building a brand that stands the length of time, and that if every action you do, that action adds to that cause, you know? And I think all of this work here that we're doing here is all about doing every single day you're working towards building a brand of your dreams. And that accelerator course, I think, will really help you to do that if you're feeling a bit lost with that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you found it useful. I'll be releasing another video next week. So if you haven't already checked out some of my other ones, as I mentioned, my social content pillars video you can find up here. Super useful. Do remind yourself if it's been a while since you watched that. And you'll also find over here the video that I did on developing your UVP. And there's other videos in my library as well about all the other bits that we've talked about during this video. But thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.